Hello ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here and welcome back to some more Magic Arena gameplay. Today we're going to be running a deck that's a bit out of the ordinary. Mono red that is not an aggro deck. I give you big red. This build is much more mid-range and in a lot of cases actually trends towards control. There have been decks like this in the past. Mirrodin Kamigawa Standard is the first one that springs to mind, but they have been historically very few and far between. This is a deck that was designed by Ben Whites and Sam Pardee and has put up some decent finishes lately. In fact, we will be following the sideboard guide that Ben published on Star City Games' website as we play today. As always, there will be a link in the description to an exportable deck list, and I'll also link to the sideboard guide, though you will need Star City Premium to be able to access it. With this deck, we're looking to keep the opponent's board under control and draw some extra cards while dealing incidental damage over the course of the game, and in most instances finishing them off with a big Banefire. One of the most important cards in the deck in most matchups is Treasure Map. It allows us to filter the top of our deck, draw extra cards, and the treasures can also fuel our bigger spells should we need them to. We're running Shock, Shivan Fire, and Lava Coil for creature removal, with Lava Coil's exile effect being very important in the current standard format. And then we have the aforementioned Banefire, a finisher that can also serve as removal should we need it to. Our creature suite begins with Direfleet Daredevil and Goblin Cratermaker in the 2-drop slot. Daredevil allows us to use our opponent's spells against them, and being first strike is great on both offense and defense. While Cratermaker is a 2/2 body that can serve as removal for a small creature, or kill opposing colorless cards such as artifacts, or occasionally Karn. In the 3-drop slot, we have Goblin Chain Whirler and Legion War Boss. War Boss is especially good versus control as it's essentially an army in a can, but it tends to get sided out against other strategies. On 4, we have Rekindling Phoenix, the ever-recurring threat. Phoenix is one of the reasons that Lava Coil is such an important spell in the current format. And at the top end of the curve, we have Siege Gang Commander, another army in a can type card that has amazing utility to kill opposing threats or provide us with a ton of reach in the late game. Our mana base is 24 mountains and 1 Arch of Orazca to fuel our card draw. It's generally fairly easy to achieve the city's blessing in this deck, with creatures that put multiple bodies onto the board and Treasure Map providing a total of 4 permanents when it flips. Moving on to the sideboard, versus control, we have Sorceress Spyglass to shut down activated abilities, and extra copies of Banefire and Arch of Orazca, though there are some mid-range matchups where we bring in Arch as well. We also have Karn and Fight with Fire, which can both come in versus a variety of opponents, control, mid-range, and aggro, depending on the particular build. Versus aggro, we have an extra Shivan Fire and Fiery Cannonade. And versus green-black mid-range in particular, we have Star of Extinction, though it can also come in against other mid-range decks. It's particularly good at dealing with the threats Golgari presents though, Wild Growth Walker, Carnage Tyrant, and a variety of Planeswalkers, none of which are able to survive the mass extinction event. And that, my friends, is the deck list. Now on to the gameplay. We will definitely be on the play. Alright, we don't really want to keep a 1-land hand, so let's ship it back. Well, 4 lands is better than 1 land, that's for sure. We'll snap keep this. We don't want a 5th land quite yet, I think. Opponent stuck with 7, we'll go ahead and pass. We do have a Legion War Boss. If they're on something controlling, that could do a lot of work. Golgari Guildgate makes me think probably mid-range. So in that case, the Legion War Bosses will probably be coming out, just depending. Hopefully they can do some work this first game though. Llanowar Elves, sure. We are going to kill that sucker. Try to slow them down a bit. Also not let them have a blocker for our little gobbo here. Direfleet Daredevil can be very good versus these Golgari decks if they put some removal in their graveyard that we can then use for our own benefit. Hopefully our War Boss will survive this turn and produce another token for us. Midnight Reaper, huh? Well, we're going to let them draw a card, but we're also dealing damage at the same time, so that's perfectly fine by me. Getting in a bunch of damage here. Legion Warboss is going to get to Mentor. So let's get swinging. I think that we're going to hold on to the Daredevil for now. We could put it out to try to put some more pressure on, but I think Warboss is more than enough on its own, especially if it survives another turn. Well, there's a Chupacabra, so not surviving, and unfortunately, Chupacabra doesn't get put into the graveyard for Daredevil to reuse. Also, unfortunately, we are drawing a lot of lands. Perhaps we will draw something large in a minute or two to take advantage of those lands. Alright, chumping our 2/2. What we don't want to happen is for us to flood out long enough for them to be able to resolve a Carnage Tyrant. Alright, Branch Walker, it'd be nice if you hit a land. There we go. So now at least if they block with it, then they will trade and not just eat our little Gobby. We definitely want to keep swinging. A lot of times this deck wins by getting in incidental damage and then top decking a Banefire for lethal. Alright, they are cautious enough that they decide to trade their 2/1 for our 1/1. Maybe I should have gone ahead and played out the Daredevil there. Not certain if they're going to get some removal into their graveyard. Oh, there's the Carnage Tyrant. Alright, well, we'll play the Daredevil now. Didn't hurt us not playing it last turn because it couldn't have swung into Carnage Tyrant anyway. Hopefully they don't have removal for the Daredevil. We need to get a few more points of damage in for a top deck Banefire to get us there. Well, that's not removal. It's another body on the board though. Oh no. Second Carnage Tyrant on top's probably game over for us. We've drawn a few too many lands here. No blocks. We're a lot better versus these green mid-range decks afterboard when we get to bring in Star of Extinction. So, I think what we want to do is play Chain Whirler pre-combat to try to get them to not block with this Jade Light. So let's do that. We could play it post-combat trying to kill it off if they block the Daredevil, but I would rather the Daredevil get in for 2 damage. I think, anyway. Alright, so 8, 7, 8, 9. We will play the Arch out. So that gives us the City's Blessing. We may need to draw a card, though we don't have a lot of time to be doing that. Chain Whirler also does a good job of blocking Jade Light Ranger. If it survives. There's the second Carnage Tyrant. I don't think chumping here really serves us any purpose, so no blocks. That is not a Banefire, which even Banefire wouldn't get the job done unless we could get one of these through unblocked. There is pretty much nothing we can do here. We'll go ahead and draw a card just to see what's on top. We can Chain Whirler. 2 of them together can kill one of these, but we've got lethal coming at us. Good game, my friend. Let's see if our sideboard can do a bit better for us here. Alright, versus the Golgari decks, we take out Legion War Bosses. We take out 1 Siege Gang Commander, 1 Direfleet Daredevil, 1 Banefire, both of the Shocks, and 1 Shivanfire. And in comes our Fight with Fires, our Karns, our Star of Extinctions, of course, those are kind of our trump card in this matchup, and the extra Arch of Orazca. Let's do it. Again, we want to be on the play. This is a better hand than last time. Let's hope it works out for us. Well, opponent mulliganing to 5 is definitely in our favor. So it's Mountain and pass the turn. So normally I would play out the treasure map to start scrying, but since the opponent mulligan's so low, I think we're going to be better off getting some pressure on the board and trying to get in there. Alright, 2 guild gates. So now we're going to play treasure map. Would love to have top decked a mountain that turn, or, you know, an arch, any land at all. Get in there. We want to mark our upkeep so that we can scry. We do want to hit our land drops. Even with our opponent mulliganing to 5, if we stall out here, we're still going to lose. Alright, Carnage Tyrant. Leaving it on top makes me think they've got more lands in hand, so that's not great for us. Yes, please. Well, we can't really swing into that Jade Light Ranger, so let's play out our second treasure map. So with Carnage Tyrant coming in a few turns, we want to hit these as hard as possible, try to get them flipped, and also scry our way to a Star of Extinction. Alright, Foul Orchard into Elves. So, oh, let's mark our upkeep before I forget here. So, we could forgo scrying to play out Chain Whirler this turn, but I think, again, scrying is super important. Well, there's a mountain. We'll neglect to scry on this one, because I do want to play out Chain Whirler here. So we can play Chain Whirler pre-combat, but I don't care if it dies if it gets rid of Jade Light Ranger, so let's see if they're willing to try that block. Looks like they are. Alright, we'll go Mountain into Whirly Boy. Clear up their side of the board. Also potentially slow them down from Carnage Tyrant. They still have the land. Again, mark our upkeep here. There's another elf. Let's flip this treasure map. Phoenix. Phoenix actually isn't horrible in combination with the Chain Whirler versus this Carnage Tyrant. It also flies over top if we don't want to block. However, again, I think we need to dig for star, so let's bottom it. Go ahead and scry with this one. Don't think we want a third treasure map. See what we get. There's another fight with fire. So we could kill this and hope they don't have a untapped land in hand. Let's attack first and see what happens. I think we should do that. I know fight with fire is a bit of overkill here, but on the off chance that they don't have a 6th land or that it's not untapped, this will stop them from casting Carnage Tyrant next turn. But they did. Well, we took a risk and didn't pay off. Another Phoenix. Do we want the Phoenix? Yeah, I think at this point we're going to try the Phoenix. This does stop us from sacking a treasure to draw a card unless we wanted to get rid of both of them. Let's pass the turn. Hopefully opponent doesn't have a Vraska's Contempt in hand, which any removal at all would stop us from trading with the Carnage Tyrant, and if we blocked and they cast down the Chain Whirler, it would keep the Tyrant from dying. Alright, here they come. I am not going to block. I think we're going to try to race them since we've got them to 14 already. Alright, Branch Walker. Glad that wasn't a finality, though it would have only gotten rid of the Chain Whirler. Chupacabra, sure. Leaving that on top. We are about to fight with fire, point 2. We're going to flip this treasure map. So 4, 5, 6, 7. We can kill them this turn if we connect with the Phoenix. Let's leave that on top. Let's go attacking. Alright, chumping the Chain Whirler. So if they have a way to gain life, like a Vraska's Contempt or a Moment of Craving, then they can stay alive this turn. But I think we still go for it, as they also don't have us dead next turn. 10 points, yep. Start sacking some treasures. And we got there. And all it took was our opponent mulliganing to 5. Alright, I think we just resubmit. Alrighty, this is another hand that has to be mulliganed. That is a bit better. One good thing here, we're going to keep that on top, is that we didn't show our opponent Star of Extinction last game, so they may not be aware that we're running that, which could be to our advantage. Of course, they could just be familiar with this deck and assume we're running it. Alright, Llanowar Elves. I think we're going to let that sit there. Chain Whirler can clean it up next turn. We're going to go Crater Maker here. We're not going to cast Treasure Map because, well, maybe we are. I was going to say because we're not going to want to scry with it next turn. But if we cast Crater Maker, we're not going to be able to cast... yeah, we'll cast Crater Maker. Because we're going to do this, Chain Whirler, if we top deck a land, Rekindling Phoenix, and then we can play Treasure Map after that and start scrying. Wild Growth Walker, well that's the first walker we've seen from them. Into a Branch Walker, though it doesn't get the Wild Growth Walker... Ooh, Lurking Chupacabra, really? As I was saying, it doesn't get the Wild Growth Walker big enough to escape a Lava Coil, so perhaps we are not playing out Chain Whirler this turn. I would really hate for them to get any more counters on this. So let's burn it to a cinder. And then we will attack. It is very important for us to get our opponent's life total fairly low so that we can burn them out in the late game. Alright, Lurking Chupacabra. They missed a land drop, so that very much makes me want to play Chain Whirler, even though the more mana efficient play is Rekindling Phoenix. Will kind of hinder their mana development here. Alright, well they hit a land there. It's not usable though, which is good. Alright, no swing with the Chupacabra. Well, let's go attacking. We get in there. And now it's Phoenix time. Alright, well there's a Jade Light. Hit their land drops, so there could theoretically be a Carnage Tyrant coming soon. Chain Whirler's going to be biting the Death Steer from the double activations from Chupacabra. Wondering if we should Lava Coil this. Let's Treasure Map and Scry, see what's on top. That will help to inform our decision. I don't think we need another mountain. So Chupacabra could be a potential way for them to remove Phoenix if they have just a kill spell. And then an Explorer, and they could kill the Elemental. So I do think we're going to Lava Coil this. Then we will get in there for 4. And once the turn passes, we'll mark our upkeep. Doom Whisperer. That handles with Rekindling Phoenix fairly well for them. Taken 2. See what's on top. No, not another mountain, please. Well, we got a mountain anyway. We're going to hold on to this as a bluff and pass the turn. So we're going to have a difficult decision here. If they swing with both of these, we could... Alright, well, Vivian Reed makes this a lot rougher.
Much more reliable than humans.
Looks like they're going to kill our treasure map.
Feel the wrath
Yep,
of
luckily
Scala.
we do have a 7th land if we can draw a Star of Extinction. Alright, opponent chooses not to attack. Hello, Star of Extinction. So now the question is, how greedy do we get? Do we try to let them overextend a little bit more? I think we do. We're just going to pass here. If they attack with just the Whisperer, we'll take it. If they attack with both, we'll block the Jade Light Ranger with Phoenix. Of course, doing this does let them draw a bit with Vivian Reed. I think no matter what, we're going to Star of Extinction next turn. Them lowering themselves in life totals also in our favor. They only milled 1 there, so whatever was on top was something that they wanted.
Balance.
See what Vivian finds. Alright, another land. Alright, a Branch Walker. And Branch Walker shows us Wild Growth Walker, which they leave on top. And chooses not to attack again. What's really going to suck is if we fire off this Star of Extinction and then they immediately follow up with the Carnage Tyrant. But I think we have to. We can't just sit back here and let Vivian continue to accrue card advantage. So let's go for the Memorial to Folly. And they choose to let it die. They had enough mana to sack it and get a creature back.
Oh, so it's going to be like that, huh?
Really expected them to do that. Yep, there's Vraska's Contempt. Well, there's another Phoenix for us. Let's hope they don't chain off a bunch of Explore creatures and grow that Wild Growth Walker beyond our ability to kill it. Well, there's one Explore creature with the Find. Choose to go for Doom Whisperer first, though. Treasure Map can be a help here, potentially. I'm going to go ahead and scry. No. Mountain to the bottom, please. And we will pass. Mark our upkeep for more scrying goodness. Jade Light going to gain 6 life here. There's a cast down, which is not a huge deal for us. At least not at present. So I think we're going to risk blocking here, as the life gain from this is making us unlikely to be able to burn them out. So if they have a removal spell, then they just get to kill our Phoenix. So we are definitely looking for another Star of Extinction now, and it looks like they do. Why Contempt? Okay, I'm confused. Why Contempt the thing when you could Contempt the Phoenix and get in for 6 more damage? Alright, deck. We are dead. Good game, my friend. Yes, please. Feels like it's going to be one of those days. No, please. Got enough lands to cast Chain Whirler. We should get to the lands for Siege Gang Commander eventually with the help of Treasure Map Blue showing from the opponent. Make sure to mark our upkeep as always. Alrighty. Potentially Dimir. Though could be Grixis or Esper, I guess. Warboss seems really good versus control if we can resolve it, so let's leave it on top. So here's the thing, if they tap low here, we're not going to scry and just play out Warboss. If they don't, we're going to scry. Okay, never mind. They are a deck that I am unfamiliar with. Was about to say mono blue aggro, but no, they've got black in the deck. Well, we do want a mountain. The question is, how counter heavy are they? Either way, we're going to kill this while we have the chance. Prepare to flip our treasure map here into Thief of Sanity. Yeah, I think we do want a mountain. So, we could burn all of our treasures to play Siege Gang and kill this. That would leave us with 2 cards in hand and them with 5. We really don't want them to steal anything with that Thief of Sanity. Doing this seems really bad, though. Of course, getting hit with this seems really bad as well. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I don't like it, but I also really don't like this thing, so... Kill you with a gobbo. Night Veil Predator. Okay. So, let's play you. We'll play a Legion Warboss, just kind of flood the board here. And we're going to attack with everything. If they block a 1/1, then we'll sling it at their face, but they're blocking this. So we'll let it hit that. And then use Chain Whirler to get rid of this otherwise untargetable guy. And hoping to fade a board wipe. Which I kind of doubt that they're playing Ritual of Soot or Golden Demise in a deck running so many creatures. Sure. It's a good card advantage engine. Into Discovery. And they mill Burglar Rats and a Submerged Boneyard. Lava Coil's decent, especially if another Thief of Sanity is in our future. We have a very fast clock on the board. Alright, without some mitigation, they are going to be dead next turn. Don't think that's going to do it. Alright, murdering the Chain Whirler. Legion Warboss represents just as much damage and spread across more things. So we just mentor onto this, and that's 6 damage. So we don't even need to use Lava Coil here. Alrighty, so this is not a meta deck that our opponent's playing. They're making the best effort they can with the cards that they have. So, how exactly do we sideboard versus this? They had some hexproof stuff. They had Thieves of Sanity. So therefore, I probably don't want to remove all of our low-cost removal. We do not want to get hit with Thieves of Sanity. Honestly, I'm tempted to just hit submit as it is. And I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, this hand's a little slow, but I think it's acceptable, so let's keep it. They chose to draw. I did not realize they chose to draw. Well, color me surprised. Night Vale sprite, sure. We didn't see a whole bunch of creatures that Goblin Chain Whirler could kill last game. So let's just get the power and toughness onto the board. Into Spybug. Now that thing could be scary. Alright, so Spybug big enough that Chain Whirler can't kill it. Phoenix. Maybe we should Banefire it. Phoenix can't block its menace. It can block the sprite though. I don't think they're going to be able to surveil enough to get this thing out of Banefire range before our next turn. So, let's hold off on that. And we'll play out Rekindling Phoenix. Alright, there's an encyclopedia. So, suiciding the sprite to grow their Spybug. They could have safely attacked with this since it has menace. Wondering if they have... Is there a one-cost thing that can surveil? I actually don't know. I don't think there is, but I very much could be wrong. Let's just play it safe and burn that thing out of the sky. And pass it back. Alright, well they definitely should have used that on the Chain Whirler, as it would permanently get rid of it, but the Phoenix is going to come back and smack them in the face again. And also as they're tapped out, Banefire is just going to finish the job. Alright, welcome back Phoenix. Let's go ahead and Banefire them so that they have the option to concede before we attack if they want to. Alrighty, on to the next one. Thank you for continuing to give me the option to play or draw. And a pretty good opening hand. Let's keep it. This, of course, is contingent on us drawing a third and fourth land on time. Hopefully that will happen. Oh, looks like Merfolk. So we could Lava Coil this. It's very likely to grow next turn. Let's go ahead and play out Crater Maker instead. Rather save my removal for a Lord. Well, no island, so they need a Merfolk to grow it. River Sneak. So what we really want is a mountain. I'm going to hedge on that. We draw a mountain, we wipe their side of the board. We did not draw a mountain. We did draw a treasure map. Let's get in there. Again, we are kind of a controlling red deck, but as I've stated, it's important to get their life total a bit low so that Banefire can finish the job. Well, there's a Lord. So unfortunately, a mountain doesn't do it now. Yeah. Being able to play Chain Whirler last turn would have been big game for us. Please show us a land. Alright, we'll take it. And it does not get us out of this predicament, but it does allow us to shrink their team a bit. And we will not attack. Alright, Deep-Root Elite can be a problem too. Especially when they immediately trigger it. So we can't block you. We could chump you, take 7 and go to 3. They didn't put counters on these. See, this is going to be a 2, 3. I think we just don't block. Of course, any pump will let this kill us, so maybe we do. Alright, yeah, got a chump so that Chain Whirler can buy us some time. Alright, let's pass it. And now we need to see removal for that sneak. Alright, that's interesting. If they'd put the counter on this thing, then they could have swung with both of them. Let's go ahead and scry. Lava Coil's okay. Yes. That's... I guess you just clicked all attack. Okay then. Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. And I was so stunned that had I known that that was going to happen, I would have upkeeped Treasure Map. So as it is, we'll go ahead and play Direfleet Daredevil. And attack. And now we'll mark our upkeep. Silvergill Adept, sure. Into a land. This one's for strike 2. We do not want another treasure map at present. And... oh, nope. Z. There we go, give that back. Don't need that, because we're going to Chain Whirler. And I think opponents' play mistakes may have just given us this game. Right, Siege Gang Commander. Let's draw a card. Shock. Alright. We're going to swing with everything. As this is lethal, they do have to block here. And they chose to block that one, so we will shock their face for the game. Alright, so Merfolk, I have no earthly idea how to sideboard versus this, and Ben White certainly didn't put this in his article, so we're just going to wing it as best we can. I think Fiery Cannonade is worth bringing in, as is Star of Extinction. Though they could be too fast for us to get to Star of Extinction, I still think it is worth trying. And since we're bringing those in, we need to cut some of our top end. So we're going to cut some Banefires. Probably just the one. We'll cut a Siege Gang Commander. I don't think Direfleet Daredevil is going to be great versus them. They don't really have a lot of instants and sorceries to flash back, and their stuff potentially gets too big for it to be a very good blocker, so we can cut some of those. Shivan Fire seems worth bringing in. Let's do that. And yeah, I think we're going to cut all of the Dire Fleet Daredevils and see how this works. Alright, we're a little bit land heavy, but the treasure map plus Chain Whirler makes me want to keep this, so we'll try it. Well, no one-drops. Very good for us. And actually, I'm silly. Legion War Boss should have came out. Legion War Boss doesn't do a good job on a board that gets crowded, so probably should have cut that over the Daredevil. Play a Mistbinder on its own, which is not too scary, though if they have a second one, then things could get a little interesting. We definitely want to scry here. Yep, there's the second one, so could be a problem. Third treasure map, no thank you. Second Chain Whirler, also not the best at this point. Let's play out our other treasure map. Certainly not playing anything else at present. Alright, they're going to draw a bunch of cards here. Oh, let's scry again. Phoenix is not going to cut it. I think we need to play out a blocker here, so... Ooh, Star of Extinction. If we can survive, that's a big if, then we can Star of Extinction next turn. Make sure to mark our upkeep here. Alright, Jade Bearer. Still, even after we Extinction, they're going to have a handful of stuff because of the Seafloor Oracle. Though they are emptying their hand here. So we are going to block in whatever way saves us the most damage, which will be the 5/5. Going to go very low, they're going to get to draw 2 cards. So we're not out of the woods yet. Second Star of Extinction, though. I think we want that. We may, in fact, need it. Go to our main phase. Play this. Use all of our treasures. Let's get rid of one of these islands. Hopefully they don't have a Spell Pierce, because if they do, we're just dead. They did not. So you're saying there's a chance. Let's mark this. We are 1 land from casting the other Star of Extinction. Though if we can delay long enough in treasure map flips, we'll get there on the back of treasures. There's a Pioneer. Let's hope. Well, I was going to say, let's hope they don't pump stuff up, and they didn't. So let's tap you and scry. I will take a shock. Well, this allows us to deal with a lot of their board. Chain Whirler will kill the 1/1, and shock can take care of the Pioneer. Alright, Mistbinder. See if they swing in... Nope. They choose not to swing into a first striker that time. And I forgot to mark upkeep for treasure map. It's going to be okay, though. Let's do this and play out our War Boss, which again should be out of the deck. We will pass the turn. Go ahead and mark our upkeep before I forget it again. Sleep. Sure. Let's not let you kill us. Hopefully. Put us to 1. Yes. Go ahead and scry as well. And do we want that land? I think we do. We may end up having to star extinction this single Kumina speaker. We'll go ahead and draw. So let's scry to flip our treasure map. Siege Gang Commander, eh? That'll do. Then we'll draw a card. Hopefully they don't have another sleep. But even if they do, we can kill this speaker, though it will cost us our 2 treasures. Get in there for 1, thanks to the Legion War boss, who really shouldn't be here. Silvergill, you got it. Alright, so beginning to stabilize here. Let's draw some cards. Lava Coil. Alright, Siege Gang is going to start shooting some stuff down. Clear the way. And get in there. And I really wish it would let us attack with all when you're playing with Legion War Boss, but for whatever reason, it makes you click them individually because one has to attack. It would still be attacking even if we could click attack with all, but they have not got it coded that way, at least yet. And that's the game. Just about any hand with treasure map that can also cast treasure map, I am very willing to keep. Again, it would be awesome to just naturally draw lands, but treasure map should help us with that, hopefully. Alright, showing Naya colors over there. There's an elf. We will certainly scry. Arch of Orazka. I mean, it's a land, so we'll keep it. Doesn't allow us to cast Chain Whirler, but gets us closer to Phoenix. And my instinct is to kill an early game mana dork when possible, so let's do that. Don't really know what our opponent's on at the moment. Alrighty, well, again, forgot to mark the upkeep. Wish we could mark it on our turn, but it just goes away if we do that. As I'll demonstrate here, go ahead and click next. And it did it again. See, it goes away. We have to wait till our opponent's turn. Alright, Ripjaw Raptor. So they look to be Naya Dinosaurs. Let's go ahead and treasure map. Direfleet Daredevil. Let's bottom you. Go to our turn and scry again, and meant to do Arch of Orazka. That's fine. Let's do this. And play out a Phoenix. Ixalan's Binding, you say? Well, nothing much I can do about that. Bye-bye, Phoenix. Unfortunately, Chain Whirler does not match up well against Ripjaw Raptor. Banefire. So we could kill the raptor and let them draw a card. Let's see what's on top. Legion War Boss. Alright, well that is an option. Go ahead and play that and start swinging. And if it survives, we can outrace that Ripjaw Raptor. No blocks. Into Carnage Tyrant, which we can't really race. So, they're showing 11 damage. We really don't have a great answer to Carnage Tyrant main deck. We can cast Chain Whirler this turn, second one next turn, and then try to double block. Well, nothing for it here but to attack. Suicide that one. We'll leave this one back to block. Carney T eating our little gobby. Well, as much as I don't want to give them extra card draws, Chain Whirler needs to hit the board. And a Lava Coil. That, my friends, is the game. Alright, so we're going to kind of sideboard versus this as though it were black-green mid-range, which means we want Star of Extinctions, we want Fight with Fires, we want Karns, and Arch of Orazca, and we want to take out the same things. Except this time we're going to take out one of the Crater Makers and leave in a Shivanfire, since we know for sure they've got Llanowar Elves, all the War Bosses, one Siege Gang, one Banefire, and one Dire Fleet Daredevil. Yes, please. No, please. That is a little bit better. Second Fight with Fire. Let's say no to that one. There is a possibility that we could Karn and get constructs big enough to block their stuff. Don't know how feasible that is. We know they've got Ixalan's Binding, so Karn could get bound. Well, no elves are coming out to play. Second Karn. So I'm going to keep that, which could be very bad if our first Karn gets Ixalan's Binding. But we're going to risk it. They're not showing white yet. They've got a Brontodon they can blow up our treasure map. We didn't scry because we want to resolve Karn here. And we could immediately start ticking down for constructs. But I think right now we want to just get some card draw going. I think we're not going to get the Star of Extinction here. Well, imagine that. Alright, Ripjaw Raptor. Oh, let's do that.
You are only hurting yourself.
Let's hope they waste enough time going after Karn that they let us flip our treasure map. Do we want that land? I don't think we do. Second treasure map is fine. Let's play you. Let's tick you down and get that Star of Extinction before it's too late.
Now returned.
Then we will Fight with Fire on the Ripjaw Raptor. They get to draw a card, but at least it's off the board. So what I expect to happen here is they kill Karn and then blow up Brontodon to kill treasure map. Just in case, though, we'll mark our upkeep to scry. And that's what they do, so no need to scry. There's another raptor. Chain whirler. So the question is Karn or treasure map better here? I think it's treasure map. And we will pass. We'd rather not chain whirl to give them extra cards. We're going to try to hold off to Star of Extinction. Well, there's a Carnage Tyrant. Let's go ahead and scry. Yes, we'll take that. Take 4. We're taking at least 11 next turn. So, Mountain. Let's scry and see what we see. We'll bottom you. They don't kill the treasure map. We can Star of Extinction next turn. I think we can play Karn to absorb some damage here.
Until you have lived as a statue, do not talk to me of pity.
We're going to go ahead and plus.
I'll make use of that later.
They gave us the land, so now we have Star of Extinction even if they kill our treasure map. That's fine, that's our last Karn. We'll go ahead and mark that. We're down to 5. Let's scry. Yes, I would like an arch. First, we'll play the Mountain. And we're going to Star of Extinction away their red source. They still have a grip full of cards, so they could just flood the board. Oh, they had another red source. There's Regisaur Alpha. Oh, what was the oops? We're going to 2. There's a Shivan Fire. Right. Let's get the City's Blessing. We'll draw ourselves a card. Lava Coil. That's not bad. So let's tap you for mana. We'll Lava Coil the Alpha. And then we'll Chain Whirler. And Chain Whirler. Which doesn't kill this little guy, but both of them are perfectly capable of blocking it and living. Alright, Communin. Into a Sacred Foundry. Glad it wasn't a Regisaur Alpha. Deafening Clarion. Sure. Not thrilled about it, but at least it doesn't get us killed. Keep on drawing. Alrighty. Get the Arch of Erazka involved. And that's a lot of mountains now. Ripjaw. Actually, probably should have held off on the Arch until their turn, as we could have held up Shivan Fire to keep a Regisaur Alpha from killing us. So let's go ahead and play Rekindling Phoenix. And pass. Lava Coil. Well, that is the game. Don't think there's anything we can draw that will save us. Shivan Fire doesn't do enough damage to kill that Regisaur. Yep. Well, come on now. Good game, opponent. Alright, so 2 and 2. not super happy with the way the deck performed, though I'm certain I made some mistakes along the way that could have made a big difference in game outcomes. Just minor things can make a big difference sometimes. So if you're in the mood to play something a little bit different, and what is more different than a controlling red deck, then this list can be a lot of fun. As always, there will be a link in the description to an exportable version of the deck if you would like to check it out for yourself. But for now, I have been Tevaron, and until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.